Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Thursday, October the 8th, 2015. My name's Theo, and I'm going to be your host for the next hour. On your program today, live from the CHMR Radio Station here in St. John's at Memorial University of Newfoundland, I'm joined by two returning players of Memorial University's female volleyball team, as well as a new addition to the team, one of many, in fact. The first is Krista Hogan, a 5-year veteran player who plays from the outside hitting position, is the team's captain, and hails from a small town named Kippens in Newfoundland and Labrador. The second is Kim Bauder, a second-year player who plays the left side power position and was named to the 2014-2015 All-Rookie team last year. She's from Langley, British Columbia. The third is Maiya Westwood, one of the team's 7 rookies. She's from Winnipeg, Manitoba, and plays the setter's position. The women's volleyball team returned to the Rock from a trip to our nation's capital this past weekend, where they attended an invitational tournament at the University of Ottawa. They've started their preseason campaign quite strong, and they had a 4-1 victory last weekend in terms of records overall over the weekend. Prior to that, the team was in Edmonton, where they had a good showing, and basically they're ready to get their season started. So let's get it going, folks. This is Varsity Life. Welcome, ladies, to the show. It is my pleasure to have you on here for the second episode of the year for Varsity Life. Krista, Kim, Maiya, welcome. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. First time experience here behind any microphone?
Yeah. First time for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just last year I started the show, so as I was telling you before we got in, and it's a bit of a whirlwind experience. I want you guys to have fun. This is a conversation that's laid back, and let's just we're here to talk sports, but whatever you want to say, so long as it's good, I want to talk about it. All right?
Sounds good.
For our listeners at home and abroad, we welcome you as well. In the next 50 minutes or so, we're going to be talking Seahawks, what this volleyball team's been doing in the early season. We'll discuss some of their results, some of the stuff happening in other sports as well, and especially I want to thank these girls for being here this evening. So before we get into it, just a quick recap on all the Seahawk action that happened this past weekend. The Memorial women's soccer team split the weekend series with the Cape Breton Capers. Memorial took the first game of the two with a score of 2-1 on Saturday. Cape Breton Capers came back on Sunday. They scored 2-1 over our Seahawks. The men's soccer team, they as well earned a split against the Cape Breton Capers. Memorial beat the Capers 1-0 Saturday afternoon, and then the Capers came back much more strongly than the Seahawks did, and they beat them 4-0. The Seahawks women's basketball team ended their 4-game exhibition road trip with a 1-3 record. The Seahawks lost their first 2 games to Ryerson and Brock, but were able to respond with a Saturday win against Waterloo. The Seahawks were then topped by Guelph on Sunday, which was on the final game of their trip. The Memorial men's basketball team traveled to BC to play the UBC Thunderbirds Invitational. The Seahawks had an impressive showing in the tournament as they finished with a 2-1 record. And as I mentioned before, our volleyball team was in Ottawa for preseason CIS action. The team had their first, they finished 5th, I believe it was, in the GG's Invitational Tournament. They had a 5-1 record. The only loss was to Sherbrooke in the following game, and they responded strongly, winning the next 5 matches. So, thank you for bearing with us. It was a very, very busy weekend last week. But I just want to take a couple moments for all of our listeners to get a chance to hear a little bit about each and every single one of our student athletes that are here. Let's start off with Krista. If you can just tell us a little bit about where you're from and how you got into playing volleyball, and then we'll bring it down the line.
As Theo said, I'm from a pretty small place on the west coast of Newfoundland, so Kippens, Newfoundland. I grew up playing a variety of sports, and I started volleyball when I was in grade 6 and kind of went from there. So as I got later into high school, kind of started to focus on that, and it's pretty much been my life for the last 5 years. So
it's a pretty entertaining life.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Can't complain.
Yeah. Kim, you come all the way from BC. Tell us how you found yourself here in Newfoundland playing volleyball.
Yeah, well, coming from the West Coast, I never expected to be on the East Coast of Canada, literally the farthest possible place I could be in Canada. But I started playing volleyball in like grade 6 and kind of watched my sister play. She played varsity in BC, and I just really wanted to play. I played soccer as well, so I was playing a balance of sports and some basketball in there too. But when it came to grade 12, I really decided that it'd be a good idea to keep going with one of my sports anyway. So I picked volleyball, and it's kind of one of those opportunities that comes around once in a lifetime, and it's like, okay, I get to explore a little bit of Canada that I've never been to before. So yeah, I decided to take a leap of faith and come all the way out here. So yeah,
that's awesome. We're glad to have you. Maiya, first time ever to the Rock, maybe?
I came on 2 visits here before I decided to come, but before that I had never even really thought about Newfoundland too much. But yeah, I came here in October of last year and January of last year. It's really good. Made me love it.
And tell us, how did you get involved with volleyball?
My whole family kind of played volleyball. My dad played high school volleyball. My mom played university and junior national, I believe, and she was really good, so I wanted to be like her and play university ball. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I assume many of you have played on provincial teams, tournaments, and all that. Just tell us a little bit more about some of the accolades that you guys have achieved before you actually got to MUN, and then I guess since MUN, just let the people know a little bit more about who they're dealing with on the microphone.
Yeah, so I guess I started playing provincial volleyball with NLVA maybe after grade 7. So I think that was probably about 3 or 4 years there. During the summer I played that. And I actually got the opportunity to play Canada Games volleyball too, which was good. So that's about the extent of where I've gone with it.
Yeah, well, for me, I played Team BC in, I believe it was grade 10, I think. And that consisted of 3 tryouts and then a week-long tryout after that, and then 3 weeks of just straight training, and then playing Western Elite, so just from Manitoba to BC, we played all those teams, and that was exciting for me, first provincial experience anyway. And then I didn't do it in grade 11 and 12 because I was really involved in beach volleyball. Did lots of beach volleyball grade 11 and 12. My grade 12 year, my partner and I won beach provincials in BC, and then we're 3rd in beach nationals, so that's pretty exciting, and then came all the way out to Newfoundland, so yeah.
I played provincial team for Manitoba summer of grade 9, and we did a lot of training. Didn't turn out quite the way we wanted to, so I didn't play again until grade 11, and then that didn't quite go so well either, but it was fun that year anyways. And I've played club since I was 10 years old, and played shock in Manitoba every single year, and played beach for a couple years, played Manitoba beach provincial team, and came 5th at nationals, and indoor we have a couple national titles too. So.
Well-rounded individuals, I must say. It's a pleasure to have you here on the show. With that, we will go to our very first commercial break. Folks, you're tuned to 93.5 CHMR FM. This is Varsity. Welcome back, folks. Currently, it is a 5:11 and a half. Exactly. And we are here back with student athletes Kim and Krista and Maiya, all players for the volleyball team. Before, they were talking a little bit about how they got into the game of volleyball. Now let's switch gears a little bit, because this volleyball team, they are very, very well known for their involvement in the community. And Krista, I want to throw it to you very quickly because you've been with the team the longest. Talk about the pride that your team has when it comes to volunteering in the community.
I think it's been a really important part of our team, since I've started 5 years ago, and I think it's something that we've maintained throughout the 5 years. I know we do, a big part of our volunteering is actually with coaching, and I guess we're kind of lucky too, being the only university in our province. We actually, by coaching all these kids, they kind of look up to us. So it's pretty cool because we get to kind of help them, but they really look up to us and kind of get to come back to our games. So we get a really a lot of support from it too. But we do a lot of volunteering other ways too, but I think it's something that's always been up there with our athletics and academics too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Kim, you've been here with the team for 1 year. Just the level of volunteer work that this team does, was it different from anything that you had prior to coming to Memorial? And could you reflect a little bit on last year's volunteer work that you guys did in the community?
Yeah, it definitely was different coming here. Overall, it's a different level of commitment on all fronts, both like school, volleyball, and volunteering as well. Last year, I got the opportunity to help coach the 18U Seahawks club team, which is really exciting. So the girls are only a year younger than I am. So I actually was able to make lots of friends, which is kind of interesting. Some of them are on our team this year. So that was really cool. Krista helped coach as well with Bill Thistle. And last year we also helped in the Terry Fox run at the beginning of the year, which was a huge, huge success. And I think that our commitment to coaching and reffing all year long is something that's taken pretty seriously on our team. Have to be at all the events, and I think it's really important that we do that for the university and for all the other players. So
yeah. Maiya, you're here just a month or so, maybe even 2 maximum. Tell us a little bit about how it's been, this new experience of having volunteering being such a big part of your program.
Well, it's definitely been challenging to have lots of kind of responsibilities with the team and everything, but it's also been awesome. I came here a couple weeks early, at the end of August, and we coached volleyball camps, and it was really, really fun to meet some of the girls here and get to know them and help them out and know that they could be future teammates, right? So it was really important it was nice to see, and yeah, it was a good experience.
Have you ever done any major volunteer work with your prior teams before actually getting here to Memorial?
No, not with any other teams that I've been on. We've never had team volunteering before.
Yeah. How does it feel getting out there and interacting with people who maybe in just a year could be your teammates? What's that like?
It's kind of weird to think that you're coaching people that could play with you. It's kind of awkward, but at the same time, it's coaching other people helps you get better as a player, right? So it's really good to kind of see what other people do, and even though they're younger than us, that doesn't mean we can't learn from them, right? So if they do things better than we do, and we can improve ourselves as well.
Mm-hmm. Quick little funny story, I guess. For those of you who don't know, I played basketball with the Seahawks, and in my second year, a friend, he joined the team. His name was Noel Moffat. Quick shout out go to Noel Moffat. And he was in a camp when he was younger, and in fact one of our seniors on the team, he was coaching as well. He coached that camp, and his name was Mark Woodland, but the age gap between them was something like 6 years or something, right? Just because the way that Mark went, shout out goes to Mark Woodland, and then the way how Noel just progressed. And it was always a constant joke having to hear them talking about how it's a grandfather almost on the team compared to Noel. No disrespect to Mark Woodland, very, very good player, but enough of that. So Krista, let's talk a little bit about your team's inter-squad games that have been going around St. John's and the vicinity, even as far as, I want to say, Bishop's Falls at Leo Burke Academy.
Yeah, so we actually went back to the community of Jill Snow, which was great. It was awesome. So 2 weeks ago, we went out to Bishop Falls, and we actually got to spend some time doing some team activities, which is good, but we did a camp at Leo Burke, and then we did an inter-squad game. So I guess that was our first one this year. So the game went great. It's pretty good, and it's nice to have a group of girls that can be competitive at all times. So the game turned out really well. That was great. And I mean, we have another one coming up this Tuesday out in Bay Roberts. So it's kind of nice. I mean, it's just a game, but it's kind of nice to get out to the schools, and I mean, to see the athletes at those schools was phenomenal. I mean, Leo Burke is such a small school, but the amount of athletes they had there was phenomenal, and like the skill level of them. It's pretty cool to see, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can totally imagine. Typically in Newfoundland, you'll find in the smallest corner, just out of nowhere, a grand population of athletes who are ready to compete. Kim, I wanted to ask you a question that I can't really remember. That's kind of awkward. But still, just generally speaking, you're here and you guys have these inter-squad games, but can you explain to the public or to everyone listening what exactly is an inter-squad game? How does it consist of? For those of us who aren't inclined in the language of volleyball. Yeah,
okay, so our inter-squad game, we split up our team half and half, so split up our positions accordingly, and when we were at Leo Burke in Bishop Falls, we had our coach actually referee the game for us, which is kind of funny, so we self-coached ourselves on the sidelines. So we played... It's best of 5, so 4 sets to 25 points and the last one to 15. So it gave us all an opportunity to play with each other on the court and play against each other, because we've never really had the opportunity other than in practice to play each other in a formal game when we're all wearing our jerseys and everything like that. So yeah, that was an interesting experience for sure.
Mm-hmm. Just shooting it over to Maiya right now, the camps, you guys do it in sort of a format with a camp and then an inter-squad game. I want to just ask a couple, I guess just a quick thought. Do any of the people from the camps actually play in your inter-squad game, or do they have any influence whatsoever? Is it open to the public? Can you elaborate on some of those things?
The camp was with the students at the school, and they can come watch. Like, anyone around there can come to the school and watch, because we played at Leo Burke. And I know it was really cool. A lot of those girls knew Jill, because it's such a small town. She had a lot of little fans out there, so that was awesome. It was really cool to see.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel going into a place which in some ways is like Jill's area? It's her zone, it's her good comfort spot, it's her hometown. Well, what's it like seeing her in that light as a first year?
It was really cool to see her do that. Kind of, it was cool. Like, she was taking pictures of some of the girls, and I think someone asked her to sign a jersey. So it was really, really cool to see that. And I know, we all kind of played around her, trying to make her look good, so that she could feel good out there. It was really good.
Krista, you mentioned that there's another inter-squad game happening on Tuesday, October the 13th. Could you give us a little bit of more information, when, where, who can come out and watch, a little bit of more details about that?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I think it's just the inter-squad game this time. We're going to be going out to Bay Roberts. So it's going to be at the high school out there. Yeah, I believe so. So, I mean, it's open to the public, and of course we encourage the more people, the better in a gym. The more people that are in a gym, the louder the gym, the better it is. So, yeah, it's just at the high school there.
Nice.
We'll go out and, same thing Kim said, split up into 2 groups, play each other for 5 sets.
Kim, you guys have another volunteering event, and you're in the community, and it's called the Burger King Eastern Canadian Challenge. held on the 16th and the 17th. If you can answer, or one of your teammates can answer, you can throw it to anyone, in fact. Tell us a little bit more about what this tournament's all about.
To be honest, it's a tournament that's we're bringing club teams and things like that here, so it kind of I guess exposes the university a little bit to these younger players and parents and things like that don't get to I guess travel to St. John's that much, and it's bringing some more light to the program and what we do and what we represent, and how we give back to the community and things like that. So while we're going to be reffing the tournament, I think it's good for the athletes to see that we are giving back to them, and it's kind of cool for them to see Seahawks like be refs and things like that. Like Maiya said, we've had girls come up to us even after camps and things like that, and ask us to sign shirts and sign hats and things like that. So I think it's kind of cool that we get to interact with them in an interesting way. So
I think it's kind of just like helping expand our program a little bit too. I mean, we started with club teams, so I think that's a really necessary step when you're developing a university team. So to kind of get players coming and knowing about our program and what we do, I think this is just another step to kind of get those players involved and kind of have some more people with their eye on Memorial.
Mm-hmm. The slogan that I found a link to the actual the registration form, and I saw it, and I wanted to just tell you basically the first line, and it says, starting in 2015, Memorial Athletics and the Seahawks women's volleyball team will host an annual tournament to celebrate women's volleyball. And I think everything that you guys just said kind of brought that one sentence embodied pretty much all of it. But I want to just ask Krista for you to elaborate. Celebrating women's volleyball, how does your team play what type of an influential role does your team play in celebrating women's basketball, especially here in St. John's?
I think here, like I said, the fact that we really only have one major university here in Newfoundland, I think the fact to see volleyball at such a high level for young athletes, that kind of is celebrating it. So kind of giving them the idea that they can go further with it, letting them know that option's there. So to me, that's kind of what it would be to celebrate the sport.
Mm-hmm. I think you said it beautifully. Want to ask Maiya a question about volunteering, but in a bit of a flipped position and a flipped point of view. Have you ever been to a tournament or any type of event where you've seen older players in your position now volunteering with the youth? Have you seen anyone like that? And has anyone like that ever influenced you and given you more of a motivation to go and play volleyball?
Yeah, for sure. When I played high school volleyball back at home, there's a tournament at the University of Winnipeg, and the players there were the refs as well. And it was kind of like we got kind of nervous to play in front of them because we knew most of them, right? So it was kind of like put a little pressure on you to want to play better, and because you look up to them, right? And you want to impress them all, and you're thinking, oh, maybe I can be their teammate someday, kind of thing. I think it was really good for all of us to have that little bit of pressure behind us when we were playing. It was really cool. Yeah,
that drive and motivation in a sense. Being in that position now, do you think that your thoughts are justified in the sense that you have little younger athletes looking up to you, hoping to be maybe your teammate one day? Do you think that that's actually how it is now, and being in your position?
I think maybe, but I also think that when I was I thought it was such a big step to come play university volleyball, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm ever gonna do it. It's gonna be hard. But I think now being here, I would say a lot of the girls are gonna be kind of nervous to play in front of us. I don't think they should be. I think it's just kind of a give it your best. You know what I mean? It's not that big of a jump. So
just now that we're on the topic, could you elaborate a little bit more on how big of a jump it actually was for those who may be listening or listen to a broadcast like this in the future. How big is that jump, and what do you have to do to prepare?
I think that the biggest jump is in commitment to the team. I think we do a lot of stuff. We have a lot of time consumed by volleyball and our teammates, and we're basically family. We spend every single day together, so even our off days. And I think that was the biggest difference, coming from a team that was pretty close together. We were all from the same city even, and coming here and having people from all over the country, super different, even someone from the States, everyone kind of is different, and to all come together. The biggest jump was to connect with the new team and have to spend so much time with people you didn't know immediately. That was the hardest part.
Krista, you being one of the elder stately women on the team, I want to say that you've seen a transition in this team. You've seen many players come through. Just talk about back in the day when you were in Maiya's position. What was it like, and what's it like now, 5 years down the line?
Well, first of all, it was a very fast 5 years. No, I kind of agree with Maiya, but I mean, for kids that are coming up and playing in this tournament and stuff, I mean, it's just a matter of hard work. You put the hard work in, all comes after that. But I remember coming into my first year, which didn't seem like long ago, and I mean, it's a hard transition with school and with new people that you don't know and all the extracurricular things that we do. Again, I think it becomes a routine, so you kind of just get into the routine of it. As of now, I can't imagine my life without it. So I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a struggle at first. You got to learn to manage your time and everything, but I think once it happens, I know these girls are into it now, and it's a routine now. It's natural. They'd be bored without it.
Kim, can you let us know a little bit about what those struggles are, being a student athlete, managing the workload plus the practice schedule?
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. Last year, that was probably one of the hardest things for me, is finding the balance between not only school and volleyball, but also your health, sleeping, doing things like that, and also a bit of a social life. It's trying to find the balance between that was probably the story of my first year. Just getting into the routine of, okay, now I have spare time. I can use that spare time and do my homework, so I have time to maybe watch a movie before I go to bed, and then go to bed earlier and things like that. So I'd say my time management was the biggest thing I learned from my first year anyway. Many nights stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning because I didn't do that paper that I should have 2 days before. So definitely time management was something I had to learn kind of the hard way, I guess. So that's definitely a struggle being a student athlete, because it's like you have a full-time job. You're going from sometimes 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. that night, and you don't really get a whole lot of rest in between. So it's managing the time that you do have. So yeah.
If you had any advice other than time management to pass on to your fellow rookies, Maiya included, in a sentence or two, what would it be before we go to break?
I'd say if you love it, then keep going for it. I mean, yeah, things get really, really hard sometimes, and sometimes you just want to throw it all out the door and give up, but you got there somehow, and you can keep pushing for it. So yeah, I'd just say never give up if you love it.
Well, folks, you heard it here first on 93.5 CHMR FM. We're going to a quick radio break. We'll be back after these short messages. Do stay tuned. You are listening to the Varsity Life. Welcome back, folks. You are listening to Varsity Life. It is currently 33 minutes past the hour. Before the break, we were talking all about volunteering, some wisdom being passed on to the future generation. But now we're going to move into a little bit more practical things. Just want to, before we move into that, a quick recap for those of you who didn't hear the things which happened this past weekend. So, last weekend, the Memorial Women's Soccer Team, they split the weekend series against the Capers. They won Saturday 2-1, and they lost Sunday 2-1. The men's soccer team played immediately after them on both days. They beat the Capers 1-0 on Saturday afternoon, but the Capers came back super strong and beat the Seahawks 4-0. The women's basketball team was on the road in Ontario this past weekend. They finished up their record 1 win and 3 losses. They dropped the first 2 games to Brock and Ryerson. However, they responded against Waterloo on Saturday. On Sunday, they ended up losing to Guelph on the final game of their trip. The Memorial men's basketball team traveled to BC to play the UBC Thunderbirds Invitational Tournament. The Seahawks had an impressive showing as they finished with a 2-1 record and even almost beat the hometown UBC Thunderbirds shorthanded. Also, the women's volleyball team, with whom we're here today, they did work in their previous weekend series. They finished with a 5-1 record, placing them 5th overall. And we're talking with them right now. So, girls, let's quickly move right on into preparation. This is still preseason. We got a couple weekends. This weekend's off, but then I believe in a weekend's time afterwards, you're playing your first interlock, and we'll have more information about that. But I want to talk about how the schedule, the preseason's been going. Maiya, I want to hear you talk about it.
We've been pretty busy lately. We've had some intense weeks, and but it's all getting ready for our in-season games, right? So it's a really, really new team, as you said, with 7 rookies. But we had to put in a lot of work even up till now to kind of get that team dynamic going and get used to each other so that we can be ready to go when it comes to interlock.
Mm-hmm. Kim, could you talk a little bit about the strategy, without revealing too much, that your coach implies, just how you guys deal with the weights, the training room, the on-court running, whatever conditioning? Let us know a little bit about that.
Well, for us, we're practicing almost every day, and we do weights 1 day a week, plus sprints and cardio during the week as well, 1 session each of those. And we like to do it as a team. Everything we do, it's as a team. So our sprint sessions, we have 3 leaders on our team, and we all pick a time to go during the week that works best for us, and we all go do our sprints as a team. And I think that's good because it helps us push one another instead of just kind of going through the motions of, oh yeah, I have to go lift weights and I'm just gonna kind of half lift today. But we can't do that because we're all there, we're all pushing one another, same with our sprints and things like that. And even at practices, our practices have been definitely going on an uphill climb for sure. We push each other really, really well, and I think that's a really unique team dynamic that we have. We get along like really, really good friends, like family, and but we have that ability to compete with one another, which I think is very, very important for team dynamics. So, yeah.
Krista, this being your 5th preseason now, can you contrast a little bit? What's it like playing in preseason versus the actual season? What can these girls on your team expect?
Well, this preseason was actually a little bit different than our last. This year we actually got to go to Alberta, so we were in Edmonton and Ottawa. So I mean, as compared to the years before, we just went to Dalhousie and Montreal. So I guess the level of play that we've already seen so far this year is pretty top-notch. So, I mean, not that it's much different, but it's good to play new teams who we haven't seen before. So we've actually been pretty lucky this preseason. Training-wise, we've been doing a lot of technical stuff. I mean, just the fact of learning our systems, learning where we have to go in each situation, our setters, getting used to our hitters, hitters getting used to our setters. We've been doing a lot of reps and technical things. As we kind of get into the season more, we're going to start to focus in on individual teams. So our training's going to change a little bit, but up to this point, it's been pretty good so far.
Kim, what sort of schedule, how does your volleyball schedule within the conference actually work? Because, for instance, most of the other teams, namely soccer and basketball and even wrestling, they host people and then they go and then they play there. They have these double-header type events. You guys play tournaments, or I may be wrong. Can you give a little bit more information?
Our preseason is all tournaments. We, like Krista said, we went to Edmonton and Ottawa, so we traveled a little bit farther west than previously done. But when it gets to our in-season games, we generally leave on a Friday, get there on Saturday and play a Saturday night, and then regroup for the next day, and we play our Sunday games a little bit earlier on Sunday, and then head out late Sunday night to come back here if it's an away game. I believe we have 2 home games this season, which is not that many, but and our home games are the same. We play Saturday, team travels here on Saturday, play Saturday night, and then we play 3 this year. Never mind, we play 3 this year, which is different as well. So we play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I believe, and then teams travel out on the Sunday night. So our home games are a little bit different, but all of our away games are still play Saturday, Sunday nights. So.
Folks, whenever the Seahawks have a game at home, you gotta come out. I've been so many times, and the environment is live. It's fire. It's a great environment. I want to move to Maiya and talk about her recruiting trip. She had 2, she said, and I just want to know a little bit of information about how the recruiting process worked for you specifically. How did you learn about MUN? How did you get in contact with people? And what brought you finally to be in the seat that you're sitting in now?
Grade 11, the summer of grade 11, when I played provincial team, the tournament was in Manitoba, and John saw me there, and then he talked to me after that. John's our coach, obviously. And then in October, so that would have been in July, and then in October, on October 3rd, I came here for my real visit, and I stayed here until a couple days, and then went home, and then my friend from back home, Kier Faye, she came on a visit in late January, early February, I think, and I came with her because I really wanted her to come with me. So we came here together for her visit. So that's how it worked out for me.
Package deal of sorts.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about your friend Kier, because she's from your hometown, or nearby rather. And what's it like playing on the Seahawks so far away from home with one of your better friends?
Well, we've played together since we were 14 for club volleyball, so a long time. Maybe a bit too long. I'm just kidding. We never went to the same school, so we did get to play against each other sometimes, but I think we connect really well on the court, and it would have been super weird to not play with her, so we kind of had to come together. Yeah, but it's really fun. It's nice having someone from home on the team, because she knows everyone I know, and so we can talk to each other about home and stuff like that, and it's good to live with someone that I know instead of someone completely new.
Talking about this past weekend's results, in fact, I want to talk about Friday night, where you guys ended up losing that opening match to Sherbrooke in straight sets, 2-0 in fact. And afterwards, you guys responded with 2 victories, one over Windsor and then one over the host Ottawa. Krista, give us a little bit of more information how it all went down.
Well, the first game against Sherbrooke, we played well. We took care of things on our side of the court, which is always our main focus. But I guess didn't go our way that night. And we challenged ourselves to come out better the next day. And every single person on the team, I think, responded. And it worked out well because we got the wins. So, the big thing we knew was taking care of what we could take care of and not worrying about anything else. And I think when we do that, that makes a big difference. So that's definitely what came up the next day when we pulled up the 2 wins.
Kim, this is what your coach had to say about the weekend. He said, "We had a successful weekend. I'm very happy with the progress and the growth we're making as a team and as a program. We played relentless defense with excellent block coverage throughout the weekend. We are so happy that the decisions we're making on offense, and it helps us place the pressure on the opponents on defense." Could you give us a little bit of your thoughts on that quote and generally what your coach is talking about here?
Yeah, I think what Coach John was kind of trying to say there anyway is that he kind of described everything in the game that we could control anyway. We worked really well this weekend to play together as a team, and I think that's the stress for the preseason anyway, is to figure out how we work best as a team. So that includes like each player, what are we doing for the next player? How can we help them? How are we like supporting one another as a team? So if like I'm playing a back row position and Krista's hitting, what am I doing to be there for her, to support her? So block coverage, that type of thing. And as well, we're really good at communicating. So when John said putting the other teams in difficult positions from our offense, that's again a communication thing, talking about where are there open spots on the court, or what are the other team's weaknesses that we can maybe pick at once in a while, and things like that. So we're all a group of like open voices, and if we see something, we bring it up, and we're really good at changing things as a team and adjusting to what's happening, maybe for us on our side and on the other side, adjusting. So he kind of touched on everything there, which I think is a big thing. We're all there for one another, and we're all working really well together. So yeah.
Maiya, the preseason generally is meant for building some growth, seeing some of your strengths and weaknesses as a team, and most importantly, developing chemistry. So, as a first-year player, what do you bring to the table when it comes to building chemistry from your past teams, and how are you rookies helping making that chemistry happen?
Well, I think since there's 7 of us, we kind of have a big part in the team, like in the chemistry of the team. But I think John does a pretty good job of recruiting people that'll get along pretty well together. I don't think any of us really have any issues at this point, but I know a lot of us have, we work hard as a team to be positive and to help each other and stuff like that. And I know that every single person has been doing their job in that, and we've done a great job so far of coming together as a team, and not that we agree on everything, but being able to talk to each other about things and come to a consensus. Yes.
Yeah, I think the preseason was pretty big for us this year because half our team is new, so everybody has to get used to each other because we have so many new players on the court at all times. So whether it's getting used to each other as a serve-receive unit, getting used to your setter, whatever it is, we kind of needed to figure things out from all aspects. So I think that was a really big goal that we achieved over the last few weeks.
Preseason has been really good to we got to gain each other's trust on the court, so that my hitters know where I'm going to put the ball, or that if they're going to jump early, then I'm going to put the ball there and not make them look dumb, right? So to get have the opportunity in tough games to have that trust instead of just kind of doing it in practice is really important for gameplay for sure.
Especially getting to play kind of the level of teams that we got to play. University of Alberta was second in the country last year, and that was one of our games in Edmonton. So to kind of just for every single person on our team to kind of go and see, okay, we can compete against these people, we played well, we can take risks, and we can trust our other players. I think that was a pretty good thing from the preseason too. So trust in ourselves and other players on the court.
Very true. If you guys have been following social media, the Seahawks, they actually have an Instagram account, a Snapchat account, all of which, folks, you can get it on goseahawks.ca. They got links to everything out there. But I've been following, and many of us fans as well, we have been following as well. So we've been seeing many of the other teams on their road trips, or even just here in the community, doing some pretty exciting things. Be it, the boys basketball team this past weekend in Vancouver, they went tandem bike riding right around one of the Stanley Park, right? The girls basketball team, when they were in Ontario, they went to a haunted house, and there's a pretty crazy picture of some of the girls there if you've seen it. And I just want to know, what is your team doing that's fun and quirky and out of the box in terms of building that chemistry and really, as Maiya said, gaining trust?
I mean, when we look at our road trips, we've been pretty busy, but we've been lucky enough. The weekend we went to Bishop Falls, we actually kind of used as a team retreat. So, I mean, we did some team bonding stuff there. That was pretty foolish, but I mean, again, and we got to trust each other and stuff through that, but that was a big part of our Bishop Falls weekend. We actually went to cottages out there, stayed in them. We had 3, so there's about 5 people in each cottage. So, I mean, that was a big part of our getting to know each other phase, which was really good. But, I mean, our 2 road trips that we've taken so far have been a lot of games, so there hasn't been a whole lot of exciting, crazy stuff on the road yet. Hopefully soon to come.
Yeah.
Well, right now is suggestion time. If you guys got any ideas for any one of your teammates listening, throw them out there.
All right, John. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Well, when we're away and we go to preseason tournaments, like Krista said, we don't get a whole lot of time. So in that time, we kind of like to get a feel for where we are. Like, we were in Ottawa this past weekend and checked out the Rideau Canal there, and a few people went shopping and things like that, just walking up and down the streets. But a lot of the time we have to have that balance again. We had school coming again on Monday, so staying and doing a little bit of homework and then going out and exploring. So we're trying to get that balance there as well. So a little bit of volleyball, a little bit of our time, and a little bit of homework. So, yeah.
It's a very unique position that you guys find yourselves in. There's only so many people in the country that get to play volleyball, or any sport rather, at the CIS level. And in some ways, Krista, you can attest to this, and I can as well, that the years fly by, and you have to take as many opportunities to enjoy everything to the maximum. But I want to quote a friend of mine who was on the show last year. His name's Teddy O'Rourke, assistant coach with the men's soccer team. And he was recounting a story talking about one of the things that his father told him. And he said, Teddy, and I quote him, if you do anything, do it as to the best that you can, but always leave 10% to yourself, right? Leaving a little bit of extra room for yourself to go in and have that moment to, what, I'm chilling, I don't need anyone tonight, I'm going to listen to some music, or whether it be, you're getting caught up in the sport that you're playing, but doing something else to have as an outlet. I just want to ask, do any of you 3 have any outlets that you guys, hold dearly to your heart? Is there anything, it's a pretty sentimental and personal question, you don't have to answer, but I just want to hear if you do want to answer what you have to say.
Yeah, definitely. I think if we didn't, we'd probably go crazy. So I think everybody kind of has their own way of kind of escaping when they're stressed out or when that's all that's on their mind. I mean, for me, I know just like a simple call home is sometimes, like, I know that's not really to myself, but sometimes that's the thing that grounds me. And like, I know everybody has some things. Another one for me is just going to the gym. Like, that's, it has to do with volleyball, but I don't think about it. So, I mean, like, those are 2 things for me that it's like, those are things that when I'm stressed out or when that's all that I can think about, or just gives me a bit of time away. So,
for sure, talking to people at home for me. Like, I love hearing about other people's stuff instead of all of our team stuff together. It's nice to, like, listen to my mom talk about her sisters and stuff like that, and everything my grandparents are doing and cousins and stuff. I find that really good to, I don't know, kind of like reconnect with my family and stuff.
Yeah, I have to agree with both of you. I'm the same. Just a FaceTime home or something like that, or even just a text here and there, and just kind of chilling out is definitely a good release for me anyway. And like Maiya said, like, you don't really have to think about what's going on here. You're focused in a conversation with family and friends and things, and that's always nice to get that escape from everyday stress of homework and I have practice next and things like that. So.
Mm-hmm. We do have hobbies, I swear. We do. I don't. No.
Well, with just a couple minutes left on the show, I want to bring up the fact that your first in-season tournament is happening at McGill University in Montreal, October 23rd to 25th, where you play McGill and Sherbrooke and Montreal and UQAM. And I just wanted to know, if anything, what are you guys looking forward to that weekend? Is there anything in particular? How excited are you to get your season started?
I'm really excited. One thing for sure I'm looking forward to is obviously we lost the game last weekend, but everyone kind of wants to play again. So, I mean, it'll be cool to play Sherbrooke, I think, for the second time. It's always nice. Everyone will be ready to play then. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to. But just the teams in the Quebec League, it's a different league. So it's nice that we get to play them. It just gives us more experience before our other in-season games too. But definitely the Sherbrooke game. That's going to be real fun.
Yeah, and last year, we played McGill and Montreal and teams like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing how their teams have changed over the past year as well, and seeing how we've progressed from what we were last year and seeing if we're building on that. And I'm excited to have some really good competition and playing like a little bit different style of volleyball. It's interesting. It's a faster game, so we kind of have to get used to that. So I'm excited to get the experience of Montreal. So yeah.
Just with a couple minutes left, I want to give you guys just a quick 30 seconds. Any shout-outs, anything you got to say to your people back home? Maiya, let's start with you.
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I have no idea. So, Kim, you go ahead.
Well, the classic. I'd like to shout out to my mom and dad at home. I know they're there somewhere listening, maybe at work. Hi, Mom. Yeah, everyone at home, if you're listening, I'm here. Say hi.
Yeah, same thing to my family. Hey, everyone.
Yeah.
Well then, I guess one last piece of information that you can tell everyone: when is the very first home game that you guys will be here? Do you know in particular? I don't think so, and it's my fault. I didn't actually write that down. But folks, you can stay tuned to GoSeahawks.ca, where you can find out all information about the Seahawks. I want to thank you three for being here. It's been a pleasure. I feel like if we had more time, we could go even longer. But with just 4 minutes left before the top of the hour, I got to say some concluding remarks, and we got to shut it down for the next people to come in. So with that, I'd like to thank Krista, Kim, and Maiya for being here on the show today on Varsity Life. And with that, folks, we are wrapping it up for this week's edition of Varsity Life. I'd like to thank CHMR Radio Station for making this show possible. Folks, if you want to get involved with University Radio, the next CHMR training class takes place tomorrow, October the 9th at 10 a.m. here at CHMR Studios, room 2009 in the UC. For more information, please go to www.chmr.ca. Additionally, I'd like to thank Memorial Varsity Athletics, for putting me in contact with these three outstanding student athletes. Once again, I'd like to thank Krista, Kim, and Maiya for taking the times out of their very busy schedule and joining me here in studio. For more details, folks, about women's volleyball, as well as varsity sports in general at Memorial University, go on your search bars and find www.goseahawks.ca. You can follow the Seahawks on Facebook as well as on Twitter. Just look up MUN Athletics for Twitter and Memorial Seahawks on Facebook. As well, they have Instagram accounts and Snapchat, but you can find it all through their Twitter and Facebook feeds. So just before I leave you, I'd like to let you know that we're back Thursday, October the 15th, with up-to-date Seahawks news and student-athlete interviews. Okay, guys? Be sure to follow Varsity Life on Facebook as well. Tune into the channel to see when we post all these interviews on YouTube. The next Seahawk action will be taking place not this weekend, but next weekend, where cross-country women and men's team are in Moncton doing some cross-country running. And as well, the soccer teams are going to play on the road. But we'll have more information next week about that. And with that, folks, I'd like to conclude. This is Varsity Life, and I want to thank you for being here, and I'll see you next week. Thanks so much.